One of his many.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. 3, 2, 1. This is Radio Free Cybertron, episode 586. We now feature 133 megahertz and 16 megabytes of RAM. So we are very powerful indeed. I'm Brian Kilby. 586 was like the code for the Pentium people who. That was the chip. That was the family. That was a long time ago. that was 21 years ago. 23 years ago. 23 years ago is when that came out. Jeez.
Really?
Wow.
1995.
Yeah.
Maybe 94. But the first time I played around with the Pentium was at 95. Dang. Man, that's when I knew that computer.
I never really would have thought to go to that reference with this episode number.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
We can never have an x86. So just 586 works.
Well, I mean, it depends how stringent you want to get here, because technically we could have any episode number ending in 86 and call it x86.
Yeah, we could. 686 could be Pentium 2, then Pentium 3. Hey, I'm Brian Kilby again. With me I have Chris. That was Chris. Rob is there. John, are you there?
He may or may not be. He said be right back in the chat a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if he actually came back.
Don's here.
Hello.
Matt.
Hey.
Diecast.
Yo.
And Jason came along to save us from our Star Trek conversation.
Thank you.
That may or may not be the post show that you hear at the end of this week's episode.
Yeah.
My biggest regret was that I couldn't contribute to the Star Trek conversation.
Well, now that you're here, you can, Jason. Let's start over.
All right, so Pale
But
Moonlight.
Jason, I think you can live with it.
Because I can live with
We
it.
can live with it.
God. And John's here. John left during the Star Trek talk.
I don't blame him.
You don't blame him.
Disgusting.
Diecast. I am shocked and dismayed by your lack of faith.
Well, at the same time, if it had been comic book discussion or wrestling discussion, I might have got up and left. So I can't really blame him.
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
I don't know anybody here who wants to talk about comics anymore.
Or
That's
wrestling.
true. Well, until Star Trek versus Transformers
That depends
comes
on what
out.
wrestling you want to talk, Brian. If you want to talk NXT, I'm here all night.
Yeah, okay. Takeover was really good.
Yes, it was.
But Takeover Brooklyn 2015 features my favorite NXT match of all time. So,
What would that be?
There it is.
so
We'll get loose.
that's true. Jason, thanks for covering last week. I'll be honest.
My pleasure.
I still haven't listened to the show yet. I haven't had time, but I'm certain it was great.
Chris said it was a good show, so that's high praise.
Good.
Did I?
Yeah. You said it just as I was hanging up Skype, so maybe you did that on purpose so I couldn't respond.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I would do.
Right.
Yeah, but so last week I was having some technical issues, like all the USB devices on my computer decided to die. So
Oh, fun.
everything's working great right now, though. So I have some awesome stuff I wanted to share last week that I didn't get to share this week, or the week before, or however, fever. just not here right now. Let me pop a Rockstar.
Nice.
Momentum. So yeah. So let's start off with what we got. I want to start off. So I got a Corporal Klinger action figure from MASH.
I thought you were going to say you got carpal tunnel syndrome.
Yeah.
Funny enough, fewer people get carpal tunnel syndrome anymore because people stopped talking about it, and then people.
I sure did.
Yeah, then people, stopped going to the doctor saying, I think I have carpal tunnel. It's funny how that works. But yeah, I got a Klinger action figure. That's not the important thing. So I got the Cyberverse. God, what's the scale? The $15 scale. It's kind of like
Warrior?
Deluxe. Yeah.
Yeah, Warrior.
Yeah. Starscream. It's
sorry.
sort of terrible.
Yeah. No knees, man. No knees.
It is sort of terrible. It's in a lot of ways is reminiscent of mid 2000s Happy Meal toys. So
It's a step down from RID, that's for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey Brian, wasn't you the one on Twitter that said what was the cost difference between producing a a Cyberverse Deluxe
the cost between producing Cyberverse the TV show versus Combiner Wars.
So I wanted to talk about that later on, but I'll just mention it now. So I watched the first.
I thought it was a toy. I'm sorry.
No, what I said was, what's the difference in producing the cost, like Chris said, of the Cyberverse TV series compared to Combiner Wars? Because whatever that difference is, it's worth it. Because it is substantially better than Combiner Wars, and the TV series is substantially better than the toy line. So the toy line does the TV series no justice. But, funny enough, basically the same style toy, but a little bigger. I got the Cyber Battalion Shockwave at...
what do you think of that?
I mean, it's a crappy toy, but it looks great.
The crab tank version?
It is a jet sort of thing. Yeah.
The Walgreens
Cyber Battalion. Yeah, the Walgreens.
Yeah, that's the Walgreens.
So Triplet and I were out a couple weeks ago, and we found 2 of them at one of my local Walgreens. We didn't have to fight over it. I would have won since I'm substantially bigger. But
yes, but Triplet might have been well at the time.
This is true. I love Chris. I mean, he's wiry. He could, he might have surprised me.
No, I don't think so.
Watch out for those ones.
But
and all the time I've spent with Triplet, no, I don't think he could surprise you.
Well, I don't know. He's been playing a lot of Friday the 13th, so he may have picked up something.
And Fire Pro Wrestling right now. So, and I haven't played anything hardly in months. But it's a beautiful toy that is pretty crappy. Otherwise, like all the other Cyber Battalion toys, but it looks great on my shelf. But I want to thank Chris Triplet for buying the $30 price point Optimus Prime, so I didn't have to.
Oh, perfect!
You made him waste the $30.
Yes,
that's nice of you.
He got the Optimus Prime and the Megatron. So the show before last, I was having some issues with my Megatron. I think so. Basically, the head is supposed to be held together. It seems like by tension, and it feels like my Megatron was the upper torso was too tight for the head to be released. So right. I just removed some tension with a screwdriver, and it popped right out. So it works fine now. I wish I'd have been able to get the post show in. It had me like beating it against my desk, trying to get it to to pop out. It was just tension with the figure, but it's still not a great toy. But it's a little better than I expected. And looking around, I don't think I got anything else. Diecast, do you get anything?
Yes. Before I go though, I had a question about the Cyberverse line. I'm thinking the RID line, the gimmick was just the chest piece that interacted with the game.
Yeah.
So it was really like kind of a very subtle gimmick as opposed to the Cyberverse, which has those battle action features, which really hinder the toy.
The useless action features, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, the gimmick actually takes away from what they can do with the price point of the toy.
So Armada, but worse.
No, Armada was great, for the most part. For the most part.
Yeah, and especially for the time when it came out, when they could make these huge toys with a whole second toy included, and it still typically came in under $10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, but no, Diecast had a point there because I just, kind of wanted to ask crappy as in, under-articulated or crappy as in badly done, because I can't believe I'm the one saying this, but I kind of, as I go along, want to slightly uncouple the idea from articulation being like the only metric of quality. You know what I mean?
Articulation is not the only metric of quality. I agree with that. It's the fact that they don't fully transform.
That'll do it.
Most of the figures don't have a full transformation. That's the thing that gets me.
Yeah, that's a good measurement of crappy. I think that works.
And they just
I don't understand those scout size figures.
And they just don't feel like they just don't feel good in the hand.
It feels like someone watched More Than Meets the Eye episode 1, saw Soundwave turn into a light pole, and thought, we can beat that.
And watch Siege Soundwave won't.
Yeah, probably not.
Right.
Well, Diecast is looking a little bit annoyed that we won't let him talk about what he got, so I suggest we start talking about Star Trek.
No, I'm fine. I did get X-Transbots, whatever, Pagan, What's he called?
Peeing
Peeing on something. Yeah, it's their Trailbreaker.
Oh,
or not Trailbreaker, Hoist. I'm sorry, it's their Hoist. So
I've got that. I've got that. That's a good Hoist.
How do you spell the name?
P-A-E-A-N. It looked like.
It looks like Payan.
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 P-E-A.
I'm just trying to figure it out.
P-A-E-A-N. Payan.
Is his last name Them Bills? Paying them bills.
So Payan, it's pronounced Payan.
It's pronounced Payan.
Yeah, is a song of praise or triumph. Does that mean so? It's like trying to hoist something up.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's
That is such a reach.
Yeah,
that is a heck of a direction to be taking that name.
Usually when it's peeing, it's going down, but I mean, whatever.
No, he's peeing up the rope.
yeah.
I also got the next two Yes model, MakeToys upscale of their Defensor. Techno?
Oh.
No, I thought it was Defensor.
Protectobots.
Yeah, Protectobots.
Oh, Protectobots. I thought you said something else.
No.
So yeah, I got them, and now I'm 4 figures in. I only need Hotspot to complete my Defensor.
Hey,
Nice.
Diecast, weren't the real ones on sale for like dirt cheap there for a while?
The Computron one was, but
Okay.
it's also I kind of like that they're upscaled. So
I don't
even
blame you there.
yeah, and now the very interesting thing that I got, and a lot of people saw this on Twitter, was this display stand that at the top says BotCon, and on one side it's Bot, on the other side it's Con. But it's very strange because it has non-sale samples, and then it also says Club Souvenirs, and has fun right down in the corner. So pretty much the only thing it's missing is the pub. But I have no idea
That's
why these were made.
fascinating.
It's
Yeah,
very, very weird.
So basically, it's a third party TFCC homage thing.
It's like China was trolling BotCon. It's really
That's the first time it's
great.
happened.
It's so great. I love the box. There was only 6 of them. I bought them all. It was just like,
because that's really weird.
Yeah.
Let's hope the stand quality actually is good, because I've seen a lot of them stands just fracture under trying to hold up something.
no, it's a good stand. It's actually like someone
It's a good
identified.
stand.
It's
Someone
like impossible
identified
stands.
it on Twitter that they recognized the armature. Now, whether they copied that armature
Probably.
or it was the company that did that other stand, I don't know. But it's got a really nice. Of course, I grabbed one that's not open. So
Good job.
Let
Anything
me
else?
try and open it.
Anything else,
'cause-
Diecast?
No.
Okay. So I want to jump to some breaking news that's relevant to this segment. I was supposed to have a Walmart pickup order that was ready for pickup today, including the Legion class, Tailgate, Swerve, Outback, and Bumblebee, the G1 toys. I just got a notification saying that the pickup order has been delayed.
Oh,
Oh no.
Yes. They will let me know when the order is ready for pickup. I got a note that Bumblebee was back ordered. So what is that's the stand?
That's the stand.
That looks like
And then it even
that looks kind of like
That
kind of like the GoBot. The arm there looks like the arm, sort of like the arm off of the
Machine Robo stuff?
Robo stuff, sort of.
Yeah, no, someone identified the arm. I just forget where they said it was from. And then on the back of the stand, it's even got some adapter pieces. So it's a really nice stand. It looks really good. I wish they're all bot. There's no con stands that I know of, or maybe I missed those.
I wish I cared about stands. They just seem superfluous to me.
but yeah,
get
like
so
to Don's
many-
point, that's probably going to be more durable than what we usually see in those display stands because it's not clear plastic.
yeah.
And I usually I I've been getting a lot of Legends figures lately, or Legend scale figures. So I think these stands will be nice to help display them, so they're not all standing next to each other.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Well,
cool. Go ahead, Don.
Just be careful, Diecast, and don't lose them so they stand by you. So,
Oh God, Don, try harder.
I absolutely
Don't.
Yeah. Do you have anything, Don, to talk about?
I have nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
Disappointment because you haven't found the Nova Star yet.
Yeah, I have disappointment all the time. But that.
Well, this is a specific form.
Yeah,
Hey.
no Nova Star, no.
Have you been to Ollie's
No
yet, Don?
Bumblebee. My Ollie's has minimal
Speaking of disappointment.
Transformers. My Ollie's has almost no. As of 2 days ago, my Ollie's has almost zero Transformers on the shelf.
Yeah, my Ollie's doesn't have much. You said you're going to go to Greensboro. There's a gigantic Ollie's there that you should check out if you haven't.
Yes,
Just
it's a window.
remember, if you see Misfire and Twin Twist, Rob needs those.
Yes.
I saw that
I
today.
actually went to look specifically for Rob because I was like, I'll check my Ollies.
Yes, I think all of us with access have actually done that at least once at this point.
And I walked in and there was nothing. I went up to someone and I was like, did you not put the toys out? Like, because you have nothing. And I thought they were supposed to buy like all this back stock, and it was going to be flooding the
they got the truck
shelves.
yet.
It's at two. They said that it was a $200 million retail
value.
So I have some insider information that I probably can't share about how much they actually spend on stuff like that. But I can assure you, it's nothing remotely close.
I expect.
Yeah, that's why they worded it the way they did in the email.
Yeah, nothing.
Yes, but
they get
Diecast and anybody else who made a special trip to check for me, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
Because I'm afraid it's all going to be like Lion Fire Megazords, and that's all the entire buyout was that.
Well,
something I
so when I went to Ollie's the other day, they did have a bunch of remember all those Tyrannosaurus movie Zords we saw in the last days of Toys R Us? Those were there now.
I do want to mention that the Ollie's the newsletter did say not that they were picking up things specifically that were left over from Toys R Us itself, but from Toys R Us's distributors.
Yes.
So there's probably more to that than just the Megazords.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Don't be surprised to see the Megazords, though.
From now through December, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is about the time of year, maybe a little bit later, when Ollie starts really ramping up for Christmas, and then like a good 8th or 6th of their store seems to be like toys. But Don, you know the one I'm talking about in Greensboro, right? You need to go to it.
Yeah, it's the one on Wendover where Kmart used to be.
Yeah,
so,
it's ginormous.
Trust me, I'm familiar with Greensboro.
Yes, sorry. I love that. I love that Ollie's. It's amazing.
I used to park at the Toys R Us in high school, do my homework in the car, hit Toys R Us, Zayre's, Bradley's, Brindle's, Best, all in one day.
Wow.
Within a 5-mile radius of each other.
Funny enough, talking about getting that Cyber Battalion Shockwave, I was talking to Triplet, and I'm like, do you miss these toy hunts? And we both agree that we don't. Yeah, I don't miss toy hunts at all.
Well, it's we've talked about this before, but
that depends on if they were fruitful hunts or not. Yeah, like going from place to place just to be disappointed, it gets old really quick.
Yeah.
Mm.
I miss finding things, and I miss having the kind of time I used to have to go and do this.
I miss the
Yes.
internet. I miss the internet being small enough that I was the first person to find things.
I miss the gas being $1.35 a gallon.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, but we've said it before. We can walk by, like, say, our Target and stand at the row, and you can tell nothing had changed for weeks because every figure was in the exact same order.
You can tell that from the road?
Yeah.
No, the row, R-O-W.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I
yeah.
know my accent is a little thick, but it's not that bad.
I thought you said road too, Don.
Yeah.
So
I got what he
let's
meant.
blame it
but
on your let's blame it on your connection.
I'm from North Carolina. I understood what he said. So.
But yeah, I mean, you can see how everything. It's like the movie deluxes before Target marked them down. Literally, They were the exact same order on every peg hook for months.
Sadness.
Yeah, sounds right.
Sadness. Last time I was the first person to get something, Ultra Mammoth.
Yeah, but that was cool.
Yeah, moving along. Chris, you get anything?
Yes, a few things I want to talk about. So, first of all, McKay's got a big stash of a certain kind of vintage toy in. So, I decided that we are all Kosh, and I got one of the cheap Babylon 5 figures they have. Now, Kosh is interesting for two reasons. One being that if you look underneath, it is just a solid chunk of plastic with no moving parts. The other thing is, too, that there was a variant of this made, which they called Vorlon Visitor, I think, which is weird because it's the only one of the figure variants that has no basis in the show itself.
We're losing diecast again.
They just randomly changed colors of the Kosh figure and called it a generic Vorlon. Okay. So that was kind of a weird thing. Yes, now I have a Kosh.
If it were a Playmate Star Trek figure, I'd be right there with you, but I have no idea what in the hell that is.
Well, in that case, you might be interested in the Odo I got from Trials and Tribulations with his fluffy little Tribble friends.
That's amazing. How much was that? $3?
99 cents.
That's even better.
Ooh.
I love McKay's.
Yeah, no, this was from a comic book store.
Oh.
So the interesting thing is it has these little fluffy soft goods tribbles, but there's also a plastic tribble.
That's great.
I can't figure out why. I can't figure out why.
Was it from another toy potentially?
Well, all the accessories are the same. All the accessories are the same color, so I assume not.
Like the soft one, could that have been like from a Harry Mudd from like an original series?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know why Harry Mudd would have tribbles though.
Wasn't he in?
No, he was in the animated series. He was he's the one that had the Tribble Hunter thing.
Yeah, sorry, getting my Star Treks mixed up.
And then finally, the last thing I want to talk about is I bought some Mega Bloks action figures and made myself a new security chief for the Enterprise since we don't have a wharf yet.
That's awesome.
So that's Lieutenant Beastman, Chief of Security of the USS Enterprise, with his phaser and his whip.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
You should have.
Somebody had to take over Worf's spot when he transferred to DS9.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
You know, what you should, if the parts were there, Chris, you should have made an Eric's just to piss him off.
Oh my god!
So far, I don't think there's a torso with an arm connector sticking out the middle of it, but. I can't take full credit for this. This was largely inspired by Anthony from TFU, so I just had to make that happen as soon as I could find another Data and a Beastman together.
Cool. Anything else?
No, that's all I care to talk about this week.
I love McKay's.
I didn't get anything on topic, so I'm just kind of doing highlights of my off-topic gets.
For my very first Father's Day, I was asked what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to McKay's. That's what we did.
McKay's is cool when it's a good week.
Yeah,
and thank you for not buying the Supreme Cheetor and sending it to me.
It was like $40, and the joke wasn't enough. It wasn't worth that much to me.
It would have been to me though.
Let me see how much you get for on eBay. I have your address.
I do thank you for not buying it. I appreciate it.
But someone had to send you the picture.
Someone had Supreme Cheetor in at least parts of it at the convention I was at, in like one of those dollar bins at the bottom that everyone puts on the floor, and I was like, I should get that for Don.
Forgot. When I have time, I am going to go to my local, because I live out in the county, and we don't have trash pickup. We go to the local dump sites, and I'm going to take what's left of my Cheetor, and I am going to record with my camera me taking it and throwing it into the dumpster. So I have something for posterity to throw that piece of crap away, and I'll never have to look at one in my collection again.
Sadness. Okay.
DK Rat Trap in the chat suggests get done a Supreme Night Scream. Unfortunately, there is not a Supreme Night Scream. There's only an Ultra Class Night Scream.
God, that's terrible toy.
He is probably on the chopping block too, and I mean that literally.
Well, if you leave it sitting long enough, I think all that clear plastic will just start to disintegrate on its own.
You don't.
I don't want to
chop
wait that
things
long
with a hammer, Don.
Yeah.
Well, you can turn around
with a
you can.
Motion.
Well, if you turn it around and you use the claw part as a slicing chopping thing, you can.
Okay. Cool. Jason.
I didn't get anything. I ordered something, but that won't be in for because I'm getting it from China. I do, however, have a report from last week because anyone who was listening remembers Rob asked me about if my son has had a reaction to Cyberverse yet, which he hadn't, but we did after work on Friday. We took him up to Target because that's where our Cyberverse currently is, and he was very excited for the toys. So excited for the not the overall toys. So we finally got to the Transformers aisle, and I said, "Look who's that!" And he goes, "Bumblebee." And immediately walked away.
Nice.
So, now, to be fair,
how old is he now?
He'll be 4 in January. Now, to be fair, the 2 Ultimate class figures, Prime and Megatron, weren't there, which may have been a little more appealing. At least those are the only 2 I would consider at this point, other than Shockwave. Yeah. But yeah, just complete and utter. He was the Mario stuff, man. He loves playing Mario Kart and stuff. He's all about the Mario stuff. So I don't know if Transformers is
up anyway. So
yeah. Okay. So Matt, anything? Nothing.
I got some Gundam markers.
Oh, nice.
How much do they cost per unit?
That's about it. Oh, these were cheap. I got these on Amazon. They were like $1 or $2 a piece.
Really?
tfradio.net/Gundam marker.
I need to buy some of those. I normally just use Sharpies, but I should be better than that.
Yeah, I mean, even fine point Gundam markers are better than even fine point Sharpies for like lining details and things. So.
Yeah.
So if I ever actually try to do any customs that I have planned, I'll have some.
Gee, I wonder what that could be.
Very cool. Rob, anything?
No, I finally saw Ripper Snapper in a store for the first time, but I honestly don't want to commit to an entire other combiner right now, so I just let it go.
Oh. John?
Nope, nothing.
I got an email today that the pre-order is processing soon for MP-34S Shadow Panther, so that's something.
You actually ordered that?
Yeah, I forgot that I did.
Surprise!
I don't even remember how much I'm paying for it. Let me check that real quick.
80 probably.
Oh, that's
close
not
to
bad.
that.
That's not bad then.
So 90 too much. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was super expensive.
Yeah. I actually need to check.
Unless you ordered it through Toys R Us Australia, in which case you got charged money for it and they're not going to give it to you or give you your money back.
Yeah, $90.
That sounds fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
Man, I have those Thundercats Savage World figures on pre-order. I don't know why. Okay. Let's see here. Moving along.
I would not want to stiff anybody like that in a country where someone could just bend over anywhere, scoop up something poisonous, and mail it to me.
That's a very good point. I never thought of that. It's
I wonder what trouble they have with that in Australia.
No, this week in history. Big news. Cyberverse. The first 4 half episodes are up on Cartoon Network's website. I went to the T-Formers article to click the direct link because I searched around on Cartoon Network's site and I couldn't find it.
I think it's through the app, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, that's what I'd heard. The app. Yeah.
I watched it on the website through that link. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on my PC. I really liked it. I'm surprised how much I liked it. I really liked the first few episodes that I watched of Robots in Disguise, and I kind of trailed off. I need to go back and watch it. But there's something about the look of it, one, that I really like. Especially the backgrounds have sort of a painted quality to it. Honestly, it's like especially with like the desert and stuff, it's kind of G1, reminiscent of G1. In fact, I was on Twitter, I think it was Walkie who had said that he actually can't separate this from in his headcanon from G1. And I was actually watching it in context of that. And I mean, if you want to say it's a continuation of G1 post season 3, I mean, you could potentially make that argument. The Seekers would have to, become Seekers again. Bumblebee would have to, change back from Goldbug. But
Ratchet liked them better way anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But basically everything else is just hand waving at that point because we don't know that Windblade didn't exist prior to season 1. I mean, it's entirely possible. Perceptor's in there. We have a space bridge. We have the Ark. It's. I mean, I'm not willing to say that it's impossible that it couldn't fit, and it feels much more like it could fit than say Prime, which is just boring. So yeah, Transformers Prime was boring. So especially the first couple seasons.
Oh, the second season was the worst.
Yeah.
Well, now, is Cyberverse is it a continuation of RIT 2.0? I mean, I've not seen anything, but...
No, it's new.
We don't...
Nope.
Well,
yeah, it's something new entirely.
It feels new, but it's taking a lot of cues from G1 Season 1 and 2.
Okay.
And more modern stuff, like, like the attack stuff, like Bumblebee has a special attack. And so actually, in the G1 cartoon, they all had their many of them had their special abilities, but they weren't built into the toys. So,
well, it's also got some comic in it because everybody has a special arm.
I do not get that joke, Don. Can you explain it to the audience and to me?
Sorry, it's Scrounge from the Marvel G1 comic. His special arm, was only one like it, and all the toys.
Well, now
like
there's not even one like it, Don.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, I like it. And watching it, I kept forgetting that it wasn't a machinima. I'm like, why are the voices not bad? It's like, why isn't this paced terribly?
Because this actually has some attentive directing, probably.
Yeah. So.
It's the best frame rate we've gotten out of a cartoon in 3 years too. Because RID was a little jittery as well. That was the style of it. So much smoother.
What's kind of weird about the voice acting being better too is the fact that they, nobody has heard of anybody that's in this. There's a very good chance that they're going completely with non-union voice actors, the way that Rescue Bots Academy is. So they probably spent a lot less on these voices than they did on the Machinima voice cast.
Then they should have put it toward the toys.
Well, I don't
think it works that way, Don.
But the Machinima cast didn't make sense because with all the the celebrities and stuff. I mean, it was just like, why are you hiring people that Transformers fans don't care about? Transformers fans don't care about Samoa Joe. Most of them don't. They don't know who he is. Most of them. It's like,
and probably don't know who any of the YouTube personalities were either.
I don't. Yeah.
I had never heard of any of them.
So, they should have had us do it. We would have done it a lot cheaper.
Just have Don do it.
Don do all the voices.
I'm remembering it was probably an April Fool's episode that time we did the joke live action movie parody and had Rob Springer voice Michaela.
I go back to the Ravage. I go back to the Ravage 3 Bodies Evolution one where I voice. Actually, it's the Transformers movie parody when I do Galvatron. I did. Was I Cheetor, or was that Trix?
I don't know, but I was also known as the Oracle.
You're the Oracle. But
wow.
Honestly,
I never saw this, and I'm not sure I want to.
Do you not remember Ravage 3 Bodies Evolution from Ultimate Transformers in 1998, Don? Yes.
I never read it.
It was actually probably later than that because I think it was inspired by the Transmetal 2 Shadow Panther Tripredicates Agent,
in the text,
which didn't come out until like 2000 or 2001.
Don, go back and read it. It's the greatest fanfic ever written.
Yeah, I'm sure Kelly has a copy he can lend you.
It's on our website somewhere.
I'll put it on my list of things to do.
Yeah, but going back to
what the hell are we talking about?
Hey, fast and loose this week because I just am not feeling great.
Because you've got a stomach virus and a fever.
Yeah, so
Yeah, the stomach virus pretty much guarantees everything's gonna be loose for Brian for the next few days.
Cyberverse,
and pretty fast too.
Cyberverse is great. I like it. Did anybody else watch it?
No, because I didn't know until just
watch
it on the website, not the stupid app.
I give it thumbs up. I can't wait to watch more.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I will throw that on tomorrow with my son, and I'll give you guys a report next week.
Yes.
Right.
Very good.
Please.
What I hope is I'm able to keep up with it.
Oh, no, you won't.
No.
You won't.
So we'll see.
Although if they keep putting it on the website, I mean, that'll make it easier for you because you won't have to work around Cartoon Network's schedule or, find DVR time.
But yeah, admittedly, the reasons I didn't finish Robots in Disguise, Cartoon Network.
But you didn't care?
No, mostly Cartoon Network. The reasons I didn't finish the Unicron trilogies because I didn't want to. And the reason I didn't watch the last season of Prime, I can't remember why I didn't watch the last season of Prime.
It was on too early. No, not Prime. Not Prime.
Because you were probably too hurt by season 2.
You must have watched the last season of Prime because that last season was really good. That's when
that was the
Bumblebee started talking.
We watched the movie.
We did watch the movie.
We watched
did
the movie.
Commentary for
did
that,
a commentary for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the season 2 of Prime was so bad that
there was a lot of episodes, and I think there were filler episodes in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't want to talk crap about people's taste, but when I see people online, like on Facebook groups and stuff, say that Prime is their favorite series, it just hurts my heart.
I love Prime. I mean, there were some
like
bad
Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah.
There were some bad episodes in there, but I generally remember fond memories of Transformers Prime.
And there's two.
Well, I mean, I have
episodes were
some fond
really
memories of Transformers Prime. Starscream, for one thing. Knockout here and there. Also, episodes that had Margaret Scott involved in their production tended to be above average.
Yeah, but it's not like to say that Transformers has this rich history of great fiction. I mean,
No, pretty much just Beast Wars.
Beast Wars and
animated. A lot of animated. Yeah.
Animated.
But I mean, there are two series that are inarguably better than Prime. Maybe 3 if you want to, talk about G1 season 3 and season 1. But yeah, Prime is the 3rd best Transformer series right now.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment.
I would be fine with that.
Yeah, but it's not the best.
It's far and away better than the movies at any rate.
Oh god, it's so much better than the movie. It's so much better than the Unicron trilogy. even though a lot of people love Cybertron, what I've watched, I can't get into it.
I wouldn't say I love Cybertron. I appreciate it for actually being the only decent entry. Yeah.
It's like you see what they were trying to do with it, but a lot of Cybertron is by default is the best because the other two were just.
Yeah. Well, no, Cybertron had more involvement. Involvement's probably the wrong word, but there was obviously more focus put into it from the production and directorial levels, where things like they would add dialogue voiceovers to the extensive stock footage instead of just letting them run as is, like the previous series would have. They did things to try to better the material they were working with, and I think they actually got finished animation and such, and had actual scripts and some lead time to work on the dub scripts for those instead of just whatever.
I realize I'm not being fair to the original Robots in Disguise cartoon because it did have an amazing localization that saved it. So you could make an argument that it's a very watchable series, and there are times when I watch the episodes and they're localized so well. Again, like the fish test. I go back to that episode and I'm like, this is so preposterous that it's amazing. You could make an argument for the original Robots in Disguise cartoon, or even I guess the new one.
It's fun, but it's not great Transformers storytelling.
Oh no.
So I mean, you kind of have to be clear on what metrics you're using when you rank the shows.
True. But yeah, so since nobody else watched it, I can say I fully endorse the first 2 episodes or the first episode because I think there's only it's like 20 minutes total. So I guess it's really one episode of Cyberverse. It's great. We have
I heard an episode is 12 minutes.
I mean, so they're broken up into 5-minute chunks on the website.
Okay.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah. So that's what we have, 5-minute chunks.
So it'll be the 2 episodes that show up the first time slot they have then.
Yeah.
Just weird.
So we have First Look, new studio series, Deluxes revealed at Fan Expo So this is in Canada. So Hasbro announced a few weeks back that they were going to show off new stuff there. So, hey, they did.
Oh, of course, that announcement was in relation. Presumably separate from that in the bonus.
Hey, so you broke up on my end, so that's the end that's going to go out. Can you repeat what you just said?
The reveals are in reference to the panel they're supposed to have, I think, on Friday. So this looks like this might be a bonus above and beyond that.
Oh, nice. So,
I like that World War II Bumblebee.
Yeah. He has a hammer.
Oh, is that a Bumblebee?
Yeah.
That is a Bumblebee.
God,
Yeah.
doesn't look like a Bumblebee.
well,
It's the flashback Bumblebee from the last night.
maximize the picture and then look at it. That's Bumblebee.
Yeah, the head is unmistakable.
Yeah.
Zoom in hand.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, zoom in and enhance.
It kind of looks like Hound, if you know.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
it's
the
Bumblebee.
color and the gun.
Yeah.
It makes it very Hound.
Well,
Movie Hound.
yeah, I guess.
It's funny. I just want to refer to Movie Hound as John Goodman because it's not Hound to me, but he's just John Goodman.
I still have to fight to call Movie Hound Hound and not Bulkhead.
Yeah, there you go. That too.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's something. And if what you say is turns out to be accurate, even more stuff. That's great.
Hopefully, yeah.
So we already talked about the Ollie's thing.
Yeah.
Diecast had sent us a note to our internal mailing list and said, "Hey, Ollie's has $200 million of retail value of supply toys from the supplier of the world's largest toy retailer, and hey, come and get it." So it's basically everything, not just Transformers. So I went to my local Ollie's, and the first thing I saw was they always have cutesy, like, in-house made signs. And it was something done with a Sharpie. It said, "Toys are here." And I'm like, ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha.
So I went to an Ollie's on Friday, I think, and saw literally at least 100 of Titans Return Wave 6, I think. The refresher case that was Hot Rod and Twinferno, Croc, Quake, and
Slug Slinger?
Trigger Happy.
Okay.
So none of the ones you actually want to have. And also, like, 3 facings of Premier Edition movie Hot Rod packed solid, like, whole shelf deep. So apparently it's not just Toys R Us stuff they're getting now.
Yeah, so they get everything. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up having. So they have the you mentioned Hot Rod, right? So
yeah.
Is there anything else that's popped up in the last? We haven't seen Cogman yet. I'm just waiting for Cogman, like a big cache of Cogmans to show up somewhere.
Well,
yeah, we only even know of a few instances of Ross and TJ Maxx turning those up among the movie deluxes they're getting now. Like today, I was at Ross and they have 3 drifts, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean there have to be more Cogmans out there.
Yeah, just like there has to be more Misfires and Windblades and that wave out there, because like there was some that got into circulation, but not nearly enough to represent like a whole production run.
Yeah, I'm certain. Certain they produce more.
Some Ollies did start getting that wave. Am I correct? Because we've seen photos of that.
Yeah, I mean Don even found some from that wave the first time around.
And you would imagine that the stuff that Ollie's got would be organized in a case, but honestly, a lot of times what they get is just a pallet of stuff that's been shrink wrapped together. Then God knows what's actually on that pallet. So,
yeah, if they're lucky enough to get like unopened cases of product, they just like box cutter the cases and stick those on the shelf, and that's just kind of what's there. But otherwise, it's just like a bunch of loose crap.
I mean, in the past, I've seen them get they've got was it was Prime. They got a bunch of Prime stuff before, and it was all cased, tons of cases of that. They typically get Transformers in cases, but they don't have to get them in cases. I mean, especially like
the Titans Return Deluxes I saw, none of those were bundled in shipping cases, but I believe the movie Hot Rods I saw were in cut open cases, and the pre-existing Voyager stock they had was still sitting in shipping cases too.
So sometimes what Ollie's even gets and other retailers is somebody will put up and say, I have these 500 pallets of stuff. It's kind of like Storage Wars. I have these 500 pallets of stuff. It's got toys in it. Make us an offer, and they'll actually bid for it. So sometimes a lot of that's sight unseen. So it's this liquidation market is a really interesting and strange place.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, Brian. One thing I've noticed in checking the various Ollies since they became a thing is that I have seen sealed cases up on the riser, and I know it's various product lines, and I know what those cases are supposed to be. And when I break the seal and look inside, it's all one thing. So in some cases, it looks like the stuff is being, repacked or something because it's all one figure or all two figures, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, God, for goodness sake, sometimes Ollie's, at least my local Ollie's, has gotten like dead people's collections of comics. I'm assuming they're a dead person's comic collection, but they've come like in a ratty looking long box, and they'll sell them for like $1 each.
I mean, is it some person's collection, or is it like a comic book store that liquidated?
It's impossible to know, but like literally, Ollie says, because I've looked at their website, they will buy anything, and it says email us to make us an offer. So, so yeah, they will literally buy anything if the price is right and they think they can sell it. So it's probably not a dead person's collection, but so the interesting thing, like the sticker, it was packed up with eBay stickers, like eBay tape. I mean, so, goodness knows, I love Ollie's. It's like I've worked in retail my entire adult life, in various capacities, typically in the strategy and operations space. So what Ollie's does is so foreign to what I've done. It's like I have a real appreciation for it. It's just I find it fascinating business.
It's kind of like Big Lots 2.0. Before Big Lots got all cleaned up and professional looking.
Yeah, the way I put it, it's Big Lots on crack and steroids. So I love Ollie's. I love Ollie's so much. I could never work for Ollie's.
That was a good quick segment for news we had already talked about before.
Yes, but it's just I always love talking about retail stuff. So what else do we have going on? Let me get back to the show notes because I was actually looking at something else. MPM-7 movie masterpiece Volkswagen Beetle Bumblebee photo. Yeah, I don't care.
I'm skeptical if that's actually a picture of MPM-7.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awful big, isn't it?
I mean,
it just looks like pre-existing stock photos, which if I cared more, I could probably track down to an original source. There's nothing in there to show me or indicate to me specifically that is a new product or MPM-7 at all.
Yeah. And if it is,
you can't just really tell from a picture of a toy yellow Volkswagen.
But this means it's coming.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah.
Supposedly available mid-October.
And this is just so weird to me, the next item. And it looks like other stuff that they've done recently, but that Transformers Golden Lagoon Convoy, and you notice they call him Convoy.
Yeah.
Because hadn't Takara gotten into the habit of calling him Optimus Prime?
Well, when it's G1, he's still Convoy.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But the packaging, I like it. It's similar-ish to like the Street Fighter packaging minus windows and craziness, but it gives me,
nothing like the Street Fighter packaging.
But it gives me the same kind of vibe, though. I want this. I just don't want to pay what it'll cost, so I'm not going to get it.
The in-hand pictures look better than the official images did. I think.
Yeah, it's not quite. It's not quite as just butterscotchy. It's a little more. It's a little more golden.
Oh, I'm sure in person it'll look just as much like crap as the stock photos did.
So going back, I don't remember who actually gets exposed to the Golden Lagoon other than like Beachcomber's hand, right? Who else?
Almost everyone.
Almost everyone.
Yeah, Omega,
the
Megatron.
entire cast, cast of Autobots and Decepticons.
Okay, so this does make sense canonically.
Yeah.
Actually, if you want to hear about the episode, you can listen to the latest episode of TFU or Transformers University. He actually covers it this week.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
Probably did a rewind of it as well years ago, but
who even knows?
yeah.
Oh, no, you did. For some reason that popped up on the site when I was looking at something the other day. It did pop up, so
Yeah.
you have.
Yeah. Just like it's G1 season 2, so I pretty much ignore it. Cause like there's Ward on.
It is the inferior season.
There's Ward on, then there's the rest of the crap. That's
And Bot.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Bot is a triumph of storytelling potential.
Season 2 has some of the best.
It's 23 minutes of some of the best conceptual sci-fi you'll ever find out there.
Yeah, it sure is. MP-40, the Shadow Panther, talking about that before. We have this is the news, guys. The coin is revealed.
This is why we spent literally 45 minutes talking about Star Trek and Babylon 5, waiting for Jason to show up.
Yeah.
And I was enjoying that so much more.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Are there people who actually collect these coins?
Evidently, yes.
So whenever I get a masterpiece figure that has these coins, it doesn't go in the trash, but it goes in
the drawer.
It goes in the bottom of a drawer somewhere.
Yeah.
So
I have a few of the coins, or maybe two of the coins from the Unite Warriors combiner sets. I think I was actually annoyed that Computron didn't come with one because that ended up being like a direct from Takara Tomy version, whereas some of the other ones I got were Hasbro Asia, I think, and those came with the coins. It just kind of ended up being annoying to me not to have any consistency with my sets because of the different sources. But at the same time, if I had never gotten one at all, I wouldn't have cared at all.
Yep.
So we have new Cyberverse Scout photos.
Yeah, check out the alternate mode on the Optimus Prime. I say alternate mode since I'm unwilling to call that a vehicle mode.
Yeah. So, where were these found? Did Nevermore shared them?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
They came from some retail
what in
website.
the heck?
I'm just surprised.
I've coined a term for that Optimus Prime alternate mode. That's Gur Drive. It's the opposite of Gur Walk.
These are terrible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Scout is. I don't think the Warriors look too horrible, at least in comparison.
It's almost like they looked at Toy World's Leia and said, "We can do worse than that."
Hold my beer.
Yeah, this is a very. It's almost like they wanted to prove they could make a mainline toy that was worse. With just
so the Warrior class Megatron, I think actually looks pretty good overall. The only sticking point for me on that is that I'm almost positive there's no like bicep swivels. Like I could even live without a thigh swivel on that. That's not as big a deal to me, but like the bicep swivels are like basic posability requirements. Otherwise, that actually does look pretty decent.
Yeah.
I mean, just if they just give the fists a hinge to fold down.
Okay, maybe that too.
Just something that, if nothing else, just hide it on the back. There was a Megatron that was very similar to that, where the arm swung to the back, but there was a hinge at the wrist that you could fold it down, not into the arm, but I remember you could fold it down, and you just didn't have hands sticking out the back.
Yeah. So tfradio.net/586 for the show notes. The article about Bumblebee the movie. I'm skipping that. So if you care about horrible toys from that line, you can look at the link. So moving along, I'm going to do the Figure King magazine, August 2018, high-res scans. I don't know what's on this because I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. So
the one thing that I remember being notable was they have an inset picture, which is a side-by-side between the original Evasion Mode Optimus Prime and the
new one,
leader-ish size one from the Bumblebee movie line in Japan.
Yeah.
So that does prove that's significantly bigger as a toy than the previous. So, if you're in the market for something a little bit higher scale.
I like
of course, there's no indication whether Hasbro is actually going to release that toy, but
Yeah.
I'm betting
it probably
no.
doesn't really fit into a studio series concept.
Yeah.
I don't recall if there's anything else super noteworthy in this. There's some good pictures of the Siege stuff.
Yeah.
Which that does show that the Cog toy can, in its vehicle mode, be broken down to form gasket and grommet, essentially. Yeah. So that completes that functionality a little bit more too.
That's turning out to be a really versatile little toy.
Does this?
Well, yeah, you can do that when you don't actually design it to transform.
True.
This doesn't give the designation for the new convoy, does it? Do we know that yet?
No, I don't think that's been established yet.
They're just calling it version 3.
Yeah, until a number can be assigned. Because they probably don't know exactly when it's going to be ready to be released is probably part of the problem. They may also have a couple more releases in the pipeline before it that they don't want to give away by revealing a number that's, X removed from whatever the last numbered one we know about is. Did Hound have a number revealed?
I don't remember. So on here also it's showing the Encore. I call it Encore because it is slightly repainted as well. The big convoy.
Well, it is Encore. That's the branding it's released under.
But it is not the original deco. It's
right.
Somewhat changed. It's not a great toy, but I love it. It's one of those things. It's a love-hate relationship. I pre-ordered mine from Amazon Japan. I think it was like $80, which is honestly only $30 more than I paid for the original back in like $99, $98, something like that. So honestly, that's not too awful bad. Like in the grand scheme of things, but this will look nice beside my original and my Nemesis and my Ultra Mammoth.
Yeah, it's a good looking deco tweak. I don't particularly feel the need to own this mold more than once.
4 times here. I don't have any lucky draws. Hey Don, is there are there repaints of this like beyond those 2 that I mentioned, the Ultra Mammoth?
There's a blue lucky draw.
Well, not counting lucky draws. Like there's a burning convoy for Lio Convoy. Or no, for actually for regular Primal.
But there is Flash Leo Convoy.
Flash Leo
Convoy.
Is there something else that I need to get that I don't know about? I can't think of anything.
I can't off the top of my head because I want to say I remember seeing a gold chrome big convoy, but
It's gotta be lucky draw. It's gotta be lucky draw.
Yeah, that'd be lucky draw.
That'd be lucky draw.
Like I also on the same line, I want to say there was a black big convoy that was also a lucky draw thing. Like as far as retail, I don't think there's any you're missing.
Okay, I'm going to the chat real quick to see if they're yelling at us or yelling.
Oh,
at me
probably
about something I can't remember.
I just figured they'd be yelling at us in general because we're just like all over the place tonight.
Yeah. Is there anything else in the show notes that I want to talk about? Movie David Sobolov, who is
I figured you want to talk about that a little bit.
Depth Charge from Beast Wars, and also I guess Gorilla Grodd from Flash. He's going to be in the Bumblebee movie. God, Depth Charge is one of my favorite Transformers ever. It would be amazing if there was a Depth Charge in the movie. That would make me so happy. Depth Charge, actually, we shouldn't have the movie Hound. We should just have Depth Charge, and David Sobolov could have done that voice.
Well, the submarine they used in The Last Night should have just been Depth Charge then.
Yeah, there you go. So that's
or 6-shot.
Great. Okay, so Shockwave's lab, but David Sobolov, that's great. Very happy for him because he's phenomenal. So Shockwave's lab to offer extra accessories for Masterpiece Dinobot. Am I missing something?
Yeah, remember that time in Coming of the Fusors when he pulls down the weapon rack inside the Axon and takes takes all the everything off of it?
Yeah, that's right.
That's basically what this is kind of imitating, and it works with the display base that it comes with.
Yeah, I see
already.
Kind of like Full Metal Dinobot.
I don't need it. It's
a neat option, but I don't. if I owned MP-41 Dinobot, I don't think I would be super interested in adding this.
Yeah, and so I can't see a Bandolier and not think of Zardoz, and I don't want to think of Zardoz. So
I always think of GT Sideswipe is what I think of when I see the Bandolier.
Yeah. So I had to get the Zardoz reference in there. Let's see here. I missed it.
So the Bandolier does it. What about Unicron's head? Does that give you any Zardoz?
Oh yeah, yeah. There you go. I never thought about that, but yeah, you're right.
Good, I've ruined that for you now too.
Thank you. So speaking of ruining things, the Planet X PXCO2 Cadmus, which we talked about before, but I read it as condoms, and I thought, what? I'd completely forgotten about this. Yeah, I know, right? Planet X Cadmus.
It's IDW Starsaber.
Yeah.
Is it though?
Yeah, it's kind of IDW Starsaber.
That's not even Planet X's wheelhouse.
Yeah, Planet X should be the video game toys.
Well, they're going that way with the Zoras too, so they're just branching out a little bit.
I don't like this.
No, me either.
It's unnecessary.
Blah. It's blah.
Because, like, apparently the back end of it forms Starsaber entirely, and the little saber jet that they show is, like, an add-on piece. Not even integral to the basic robot.
Huh. If Hasbro is going to keep the evolution thing going forward, I'm sure we'll get a Starsaber more affordably down the line anyway.
I hope so.
Probably
Hopefully.
Better executed, honestly.
Yeah. Hey.
This just seems to be kind of like, comics are ending. Better get our figures out. We've been working.
Well, the thing is too, like, for what this is probably going to cost, you probably could just get a Masterpiece Starsaber, and not be too far apart.
Probably not. Yeah.
I don't like Masterpiece Starsaber.
I do like Masterpiece Starsaber.
I understand. I understand on various levels, Masterpiece Starsaber is not for everyone, but just in terms of getting something that performs a function of being a Starsaber, there is another way to go that's a little bit more like, accurately functional
in the same price range. I fully admit that the Masterpiece Starsaber not being what I want, it is. I mean, it's all on me because it is all I want. It's exactly like everything I would want out of a Masterpiece Starsaber, but when I see it in front of me, I'm like, I spent too much money for this. But in hindsight, compared to the cost of things now, it was a bargain.
Yeah, how much was it? Like $150?
Yeah. Now, now that's like, whoa, that's cheap.
Yeah, I mean, if it was released now, it would be a 25,000 yen Masterpiece.
Probably.
Yeah, so
just because it's so big.
I think Diecast put this in the show notes. So, as best KO company name ever, it's a link to a Taobao thing, and I'm not seeing the name. So, what's the name?
I'm concerned.
It's up on the corner of the box. It's
AOD?
AOD, which is short for Art of Duplicates.
Oh,
and
well.
This is their first one that I know of, and they're doing Masterpiece Powerglide from the DX9. There's actually two different KO companies that are doing the same figure at the same time.
The Richtofen?
The Richtofen, yeah. Yep.
That's hilarious.
So, but I think that's the best name ever, the Art of Duplicates, because,
And at least
KO company, here I am.
Yeah, at least Taobao is calling him King Kong, which, planes King Kong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That again seems like a reach.
It's not a biplane, yeah.
No, but...
And away we go. Hey, speaking of away we go, hey, tfradio.net/Amazon, if you buy something, it helps us out. Seriously. Like, we need to buy stuff, like, hosting and things. It's expensive. tfradio.net.
Also, there's taxes to pay.
tfradio.net/Amazon. Yeah. Hey, there you go. And buy a shirt. tfradio.net/shirt. John makes awesome shirts. I think he said that he has the next design completely submitted, so we're just waiting for it to go through. But that's going to be the orange Robot Collector shirt. So I'm excited about that. I still need to pick up the Headmaster shirt. I haven't done that yet. In fact, I should just go ahead and do that tonight.
Yeah, you should do that right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
while we're recording, because that is that is the way of Brian Kilby.
Okay, I'll do it.
The way to Kilby. Yep.
tfradio.net/shirt.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing that we do.
tfradio.net/shirts.
Yeah, it's shirt. Either one works. I made both links work, just in case.
Okay.
That's probably for the best. You should probably do that with Diecast's review short link to make it review and reviews.
I think it is.
Since he can't remember.
I think it is.
Okay.
So, and I went for the soft fabric, pre-shrunk.
It's a good upgrade, I hear.
Yeah, it's worth it. tfradio.net/shirt. Help us out. Let's see here. Rob, what's on T-Formers this week?
Mainly just a bunch of Bumblebee movie toy commercials, if anybody's interested. We've got an ad for the Energon Igniter's Power Plus series, and also for the DJ Bumblebee and Power Charge Bumblebee, and I have not watched any of those
I
yet.
watched the DJ Bumblebee one. I thought it was kind of cute, but it's not for me. That toy was horrible.
No, it really isn't. Power Charge Bumblebee looks like something that I'd probably enjoy if I could pick it up for $15 on discount at some point. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe.
I would at least think about it.
Yeah, way to wow us! Way to wow us there, Hasbro.
Speaking of wowing us, Don, what's on the network this week?
What's on the network this week? RPG Lessons Learned, episode 69.
Nice.
Red Vetting Pathfinder. On this episode, a session becomes a game within a game when the PCs agree to run a war game against the town guard.
Yeah, that was a fun game that we ran. It's a pretty interesting podcast. If you play, if you're a GM or you are a player of a tabletop RPG, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good discussion in that one for sure.
Yeah. Let's see here. Rob Springer is on Twitter at Rob Springer. He's at zonebase.org. He is prepping for Halloween. I mention Rob every week. Rob, I love you. And you've been here since, not the beginning, but nearly the beginning, like 2000. But you know what? Rob was on the Transformers University podcast this past week. And when was the last time we had a Rob Springer podcast here on RFC? Yep.
A year or more?
It's been a while.
Just saying. Well, we love you, Rob. So you can find Rob at zonebase.org. And you can find us on Twitter at TF Radio, on Facebook at facebook.com/TF Radio. And occasionally on the Instagrams at TF Podcast, though we tend to use Instagram for like big events, like New York Comic Con and
Massey Attacks
and stuff like that. I've been meaning to like post like collection stuff, and I do it occasionally, just not often enough. And let's see here. I am on the Twitters at bkilby, and on Instagram at Brian Kilby, and I use Instagram way more than I ever thought I would. So Instagram is not my jam, but it is my pass through to Facebook and Twitter. But if you like Instagram, you get to see all my stuff there. I just don't respond to comments because I never see them. That actually is pretty much the case everywhere. I don't respond to comments or messages. Typically.
Me neither.
Yeah, it's not because I don't like you. It's just because
Are you sure?
It's because I never see it. I go back to my Facebook messages and I see stuff from like months ago, and I'm like, oh, I should have responded to that. But I just don't look. So I actually turned it off finally on the RFC Facebook page because we were getting messages that I was never responding to. Yeah. Like, I hate the fact that you can message stuff on Facebook. I have email. That's what email is for. We don't need your messages on Facebook, people. I also don't respond to a lot of things. Email sometimes, too. Hey, Chris, you are on Flickr at flickr.com/ChrisRTXV. Have you posted anything recently?
Well, certainly not in the last few days, but I mean,
Don, how do people get a hold of you?
I can be reached on Twitter at HMRC4EVR.
Jason.
Let's see. Go to everlastingminute.com because by the time you're hearing this, we are gearing up for our last 15 episodes. We're almost to the end.
How long?
Everlastingminute.com.
How long did it actually take you to record that podcast?
Well, we're not done. We have 2 more, 1.5 sessions to go. We do 6 episodes at a time, so 2 weeks at a time. Usually takes about 3 hours to do a session. Two between 2 and 3. So, a lot of time.
Cool.
There's 100 minutes total. So,
yeah.
What a weird project.
I mean,
it's been fun.
That's a thing, though, right? These minute-by-minute podcasts.
Yeah, if you go to moviesbyminute.com, I think, or Movie Minute, I can't remember the site, but there's like over 100 at this point. There's even one, unfortunately, already for the Transformers the movie, so I can't do that one next or anything, but there's one for pretty much everything. And it all started with Star Wars Minute and Gutterballs, Big Lebowski, minute-by-minute show, so they've been around for a while.
Yeah. I don't get it, but there's a lot of things I don't get. Hey, so Matt's tired. He's on Twitter at Melvar, 3Ls2Rs. Melvar Diecast.
Unlike Brian and Radio Free Cybertron, you can message me on Facebook.
I don't know why you'd want to, though.
At Reviews by Diecast, and I may see it and answer. You can also message me on Twitter.
You have me as
Diecast
you have me as an admin for that, so I get the messages too. You might want to turn me off as an admin.
We don't get messages.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you can also follow me on Twitter at Diecast2, and check out my reviews on tfradio.net/reviews, and on YouTube at youtube.com/RFC
Cool. Rob.
I am on Twitter at Figure Reviewers and Flail-Throughs. Also on YouTube at Flail-Throughs, where we're continuing our pretty much it's full-time Gundam Battle Operation 2 coverage at the moment, because that has been doing really well. If you want to request a specific mobile suit for that or New Gundam Breaker, hit me up at patreon.com/flailthroughs. And, of course, any Transformers-related videos that Chris and I produce will show up on YouTube at T-Formers TV.
We've got another piece of breaking studio series news. I'm pasting the link in the Skype chat now.
Okay. Hey, so while I say that... John is somehow recording a minicast and in this with us right now. So John is everywhere. That John D.
So this is apparently we're going to have a studio series Crankcase, which is a retool of Crowbar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically just the same thing. Apparently with a new head, and they made the hands gold now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thrilling, huh?
Thrilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These movie toys, these studio series toys are really losing me.
I like that World War II Bumblebee.
Yeah, one thing I really appreciate is Hasbro churning through these as quickly as they are, and the quality being as fairly good as they are. I just wish
unless you're a Bumblebee.
Yeah, unless you're a Bumblebee. I just wish I cared more. Like, I don't have any attachment to any of these characters.
I'm pretty happy that I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We might be too old for these characters. I think this is for the younger set that's just coming into their disposable income, perhaps.
Like, wouldn't that... Well, okay, I was thinking back to this. I'm like, what would Eric...
They're for Eric. Yeah.
So Eric is just 18, so Eric would have been born in 2000. So Eric's first Transformers that he would remember would either be Cybertron or animated. God. Oh my God. I mean, it's not even like Armada. I mean, there's a generation of kids out there who their first Transformers was like Armada or even Robots in Disguise. And I remember the Beast Wars kids being young.
Those kids are in college now, Brian.
No, like like those Beast Wars kids are like, if they're in college, they're like getting their post-grad stuff.
No, the Armada kids are.
The Armada kids and Robots in Disguise 1.0.
Yeah, you're right though. The Beast Wars kids are in grad school now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Dang.
The Armada kids probably are too, considering Eric's in college. So
yeah. And Eric will be designing these things at some point in the future.
They will all look like Bisque. They will all be...
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Actually, so I would much rather have a Transformers design team that was inspired by fun stuff like the Robots in Disguise toys than movie stuff.
Yeah, I think given the choice, but I would rather have seen thrown away in order to make Cyberverse happen would have been like Generations as we're getting it currently, and keep the Robots in Disguise style design stuff, because like I enjoyed a lot more of that more thoroughly, I think.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see you next week. Have a good one.